If you had the opportunity to ask God for one thing, what would you ask for? Think about it. Would you ask for wealth? Well, there's not a lot of that these days. Would you ask Him, Lord, why do I have to suffer so much? Would you ask Him to restore a broken relationship with someone you love? Would you ask for prolonged life? Or would you ask, Lord, bring the truth to light in this situation where I'm being slandered or mistreated? Let my enemies fall to my feet and apologize for what they have done. Would that be your request? What if I told you that while these questions are vital, they're not the most important? Did you know that there's one thing that you can ask God for that He will never, ever deny you a request to? Now, hear me out. The Bible says in the book of Proverbs, wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. And in all you're getting, get understanding. Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 7. It is inspiring to see that Solomon is the writer of this text. And he had an experience with God. His story started with a dream in which he saw God and had the opportunity to ask for something. God made the offer. Hey, Solomon, ask, what shall I give to you? Solomon replied, Lord, you showed great mercy to my father David and have made me king. Now give me wisdom and knowledge. As we embark upon this journey called life, and that's what Solomon was starting out as king, we must never forget to pack wisdom for the trip, and that's what Solomon did. James, in James chapter 1 verse 5 says, if anyone lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives it to all liberally and without reproach, and it will be given him. Now, this text tells us about God, and it tells us about us. Now, what does it say about us? The person who should be asking for wisdom here is a person who is presently going through trials based on the context of James chapter 1. And trials teach us that we do not have wisdom. The great difficulty we are currently experiencing reveals to us how much we do not know. So if any man lacks wisdom, then he is encouraged, ask God. Now, what does this text say about God? Well, He gives wisdom to all, He gives wisdom liberally, and He doesn't reproach those who ask. So God is extremely generous when it comes to providing knowledge and understanding. When the text says, let him ask God, it is a less gentle approach than what we might think of. Since God is so generous with wisdom, James says, let him demand it of God. And you will see that He will not chastise you for asking. He will not blame you for bringing your problems to Him. He loves you and He delights in giving you understanding. That's what we don't have currently. So we can pray, Lord, please give me the wisdom to respond to this person who does not understand that what they are saying is mean right now. He will give wisdom. Lord, please give me the understanding to punch the numbers when the finances are low. Please give me an understanding when I have to stand and defend my case or prove my innocence. He will give wisdom. Give me wisdom so that I may be able to endure this test. Lord, make me wise. You see, because even though we may have all the wealth in the world or have the best relationships or a good education, we may still be a fool when it comes to solving our own problems. Therefore, ask God for wisdom and He'll give it. My last point. Wisdom is more than just an obscure idea in the book of James. It is a full understanding of how God thinks and how God reacts to the situations we face. Paul says that Christ is the wisdom of God and the power of God, 1 Corinthians 1:24. So when you pray for wisdom, God answers your prayer every time, and you'll be able to be more like Jesus each time you apply His wisdom. So we have this saying, what would Jesus do? Well, really and truly, in order for you to do what Jesus would do, you need the wisdom of God to do it. And therefore, you need to ask God for wisdom. No matter how difficult the trial is you're facing, never forget to ask God.